Hello everyone! Welcome back to Nuffy Cat! We're so glad that you can join us today. A couple of days ago, we did a video about how to help ourselves and how to help humans when we're grumpy. But I thought it would be great to do a video about how to help a grumpy kitty. What are some of the things that you can do and some of the ways that you can help a kitty when they feel grumpy? They have feelings just like we do. They have moods, and you'll know when they're grumpy by things like having their little ears back, growling, hissing, backing away, scooching away, little impatient tails. This little tail is relatively patient right now. But there's things that we can do to help when they're feeling grumpy too. So one of the first things to note, if your kitty has a specific area on their body that they're being really sensitive about you touching or handling, that can be a sign that they're injured. And if they're in an overall grumpy mood and it's lasting, that can also be a sign that there's something going on with their health. And so it's a good idea to consider going to the vet and taking them to a doctor if you start to see signs like that. And this is an ignore the mommy button. Yeah, somebody says, I don't want to play. So that's a sign that they might need to go to a doctor and consider that about them. And they can also, just like humans can get overstimulated, kitties can get overstimulated. If they're not used to being handled, especially if they're not used to being handled a lot and they're having more petting than normal, those little tails can get impatient. Yes, look at this. And they're starting to communicate that they're not happy with that. Today, he's had a lot of extra attention and affection and love from everybody. So he is already a little bit overstimulated when we go into this video, which is why there seems to be a little bit of a catitude. Well, if they're overstimulated, yeah, sometimes it just helps to give kitty space. Just like human beings can need that. You respect them and you slowly introduce them to being pet longer, to being handled, being taken to other locations. You slowly get them ready for that so that it won't freak them out. And they can get used to being handled and being pet. It just takes some time to do that. And if they get grumpy, they'll start to bite chi or swat, or they might growl a little. They might make sounds. I won't do it very big because I don't want him to think I'm upset. If you want to be able to hold your kitty for a half hour, work that up. We were noticing earlier today, I had him downstairs visiting with everyone, and we were all noticing how much better, how much more tame he was than even 4 months ago. By slowly progressing it, he has adjusted. So if they're showing signs of being upset, respect that. Little ears are going back. If little tails are getting impatient, give them some space and let them slowly build the trust and the time that it needs so that they feel safe in your arms, or so that they feel safe being touched. Then you won't see such grumpy attitudes, such grumpy catitude. Just like we human beings do not like being forced to go places or to do things, they can definitely feel that way. And regard that about them. Once again, it helps if you do need to get them ready beforehand, to slowly work them up to it, and to make sure that you're giving them adequate space and not over scheduling or over fluffing them. Because they can have feelings about that just like we can. Yes, we can. Somebody's giving sweet eyes. Sometimes they just need to play. Sometimes when a kitty is getting aggressive, sometimes it's a sign that they really just need to play. They may have a lot of pent up extra energy, and it really helps to play. Yes, sometimes they'll just need to play. That can help get some of that excess energy out. And the kitty that had been being on the aggressive side, yes, will be able to settle down and to feel better. Yes, sometimes they just need to play like this. Yes. Yes, look how he's biting and chewing, letting off some of the excess energy. That can really, really help. Oh, when you're seeing them, look at this little tail. This is impatience. It doesn't help to have the leash around, does it? Now that's an impatient little tail. That's definitely, I'm glad to catch this one on camera so you guys can see it. There's that impatient little tail. And that says, give me a little bit of kitty space. Yes. Another thing that matters a lot is to make sure that you check on their food and on their water. Make sure that you check on their litter box and that everything is doing okay there. They've got their potties going on a regular basis, because if they're not, that can hurt them just like it does us, and definitely bring out grumpy emotions. Yeah, we don't feel happy when we don't have our adequate food or water either, do we? And another thing that really is a big deal, cats get upset when their environment gets disturbed or moved around. We human beings like to move things around our house, even if it's just things like taking garbage out. Well, if a kitty has their scent there and you're moving their things all around, or you're moving things around their environment, that can really upset them, and they can get a lot more grumpy and a lot more nervous. So they're territorial by nature, and it's important to recognize that, because we human beings can be territorial as it is, but for them, it's a potential threat if their environment is changed. In the natural world, you have things like storms that come and upset environments. We don't like it when there's a tornado or an earthquake or a tsunami that comes through and upsets our environment. They don't like it either. And they're even more particular about that than we are. They're very, very sensitive about smell, and they're going to be upset if the scent that they have taken all the trouble to rub onto things gets disturbed. So when you do need to move things around, do it a little at a time. Do one or two things around, and also, get them used to the new placements of things. And then if you ever are needing to move them, let's say you're moving and going to another house, bring some of their things with you to that new house so that they can smell their scent on things, and that will help a lot. Yes, that'll help the grumpy moods. That'll help the insecurity. They can get really grumpy about new kitties, or even familiar kitties or other people that they don't know being brought into their environment. And so if you ever have that, if they're either shy or grumpy, introduce somebody a little bit at a time, human or otherwise. For those of you who have multiple kitties, when you first are bringing another kitty into the house, try not to bring the kitty right where your first kitty's natural environment is, where their food, water, and litter are, or their favorite sleeping spot, because they're going to feel really protective over that. He hears wind and he feels startled. Only introduce them for a few minutes. Oh, look at that impatient tail. It also helps if you're bringing, say, another kitty in, have you and another person hold the other animal and them. Have them hold each other so that they can get used to each other. And don't expect it all at once. Bring that forward like a day at a time. Start with something like 5 minutes or 2 minutes even. Then the next day 5, the next day 10. And slowly build it up so that they can get used to the other. And then finally accept the other one. Just like we don't like strangers moving into our homes, they don't like strangers moving into their space. And so that matters. You do that slowly, build it up slowly so that they won't feel grumpy and hiss at that one every single time that they see them. Make sure also that you give each kitty their own space. Make sure that you give each kitty their own food space, their own water space, their own litter box, and their own time with you. Each needs to feel loved and cherished and appreciated, and kitties can get upset even over your scent or another kitty's scent getting onto the same person. We have 2 doggies in my household, and he notices every single time that another doggy's smell is on me. He notices, and he doesn't always like it. So be aware of that about your kitty. And if you're grumpy around them, they'll start feeling grumpy. They can pick up on subtle things, on subtle cues, and your grumpy moods can spread to them. So if you have a bad attitude about something, why do you expect your kitty not to? If you're more nervous, let's say that you're taking them to a vet or somebody, they're going to notice that. They're going to pick up on that, and they're going to be a lot more grumpy, a lot less cooperative themselves as well. So I just thought I'd share all these things with you to help you and your kitties out. Well, thank you so very much for watching today. If you like the content of our videos, don't forget to take those paws and paw that like button. You can paw the subscription button. You can paw the notification bells so that you can see all of Nuffy Cat's videos. Well, thank you all very much, and we'll look forward to seeing you in the next video.